Hello? Sorry, microphone problem. You know, it's one of those things, IT, yeah. Windows needs to have, when it does an update, a thing that pops up on your screen and says, just to let you know, when you booted your PC this morning, I updated your microphone software so that I can at least go and check whether things are working. Hello, everybody. So basically, my Sonar, which is my microphone and my mixing studio software, basically popped up this morning. So obviously there's been some kind of update. So my streaming software decided it lost it and it forgot it. There we go. So I had to switch over to that. Sorry about that. So anyway, morning, everybody. Morning, Danny, Marco, Mumo, FTNet, Mumble, everybody. Hello. I'm here. So I'll start again. Basically what we're going to do today is cover the usual stuff, FX-wise. Trade the DAX, have a look at how everything's going so far this week. This is the first news event of the week today, 1:30 PPI. So we've had literally nothing so far this week news-wise, absolutely dead. So the PPI today hopefully is going to shake up the market a little bit and get some movement going. Don't really need 10 years worth, do we? Let's look at the last couple. PPI is the producer price index. That is basically what feeds into the consumer price index. Consumer price index is what drives interest rates up and down. So this is a very important one. So on next Wednesday, we are forecasting that the US is going to drop interest rates by somewhere between 0.25 to 0.5%. That's what they're kind of thinking at the moment, but that is the other option. If all of these numbers come out as very, very low, so they miss forecasts, the forecast is going to go from 0.9 to 0.3. If we get a 0.1, for example, that's going to be bearish, which means there's much more chance of that happening, which means the dollar will drop dramatically. So very important numbers coming out today. Tomorrow, we've got the CPI, which is basically the next version on from PPI. Same thing. If those forecasts, which are forecast on the monthly, for example, to go from a 0.2 to a 0.3, if it comes out as a 0.1, negative. So today's and tomorrow's news events for the dollar are very important because they are going to be probably the main decision-making process the Fed uses next Wednesday to decide whether or not to go with a 0.25 or a 0.5. Highly unlikely they won't change the interest rates, but it's the Fed. Anything can happen. So 1:30 this afternoon, be aware of that. There is an opportunity to trade the news spike and the bit after the news spike for a breakout. Okay, so that's something we're going to be doing much more in the member streams moving forward. So be aware of that 1:30 this afternoon. If you've got dollar exposure on, obviously, we're going to get some potential movement off the back of that. Overnight news, nothing much to report. As you can see, going through, there is no red. Chinese PPI and CPI came out, which we don't really pay attention to. This was what came out last night, which was the only real impactive thing. It's to do with tariffs, basically, but it's kind of more him spouting rather than doing something. So it's not really had an impact on the market. Basically, Trump telling the EU to hit China and India with 100% tariffs to pressure Putin. But European Union's not going to do anything. It's nothing to do with him, basically. So other than that, there was no other news. The main impact overnight was from a conflict perspective, which obviously we need to be aware of, is Israel have fired missiles into Qatar to kill people. So they are now killing Hamas leaders on foreign soil. So think of it like Scotland deciding they don't like somebody and chucking a missile into England. You don't do that. So there's a massive uproar about that, and that is going to probably reshape the way that the West is looking at what Israel is doing, because you can't just chuck missiles into other people's countries because you don't like somebody. Russia does, but that's not the way it works. So there is potential for a flare-up in conflict, so just keep that in mind. Exposure at the moment is very difficult to predict, to know what to do with, because stuff is very volatile at the moment. The world is a volatile place. So just keep your exposure to individual currencies light, because if one of them takes off, that's only one thing that's going to go right or wrong for you. The DAX so far, 5-minute range is in. We've got a very tiny gap up situation from when the market opened at 7 o'clock, but nothing particularly exciting. So I would class that as a gap fill done. There's your 5-minute range, total indecision. So we'll be taking a break of that. Yesterday was a real mixed bag. I managed to come out of it yesterday with 0.75 drawdown, which was great. But yesterday was an absolute chop fest. We went short at the ORB, then we went long. We didn't go anywhere, and we came back down, stopped out. Then we collapsed down. So that was your trade. That was the one to take, but it took over an hour to happen after a choppy open. So no money made on the DAX yesterday. The Dow yesterday, almost exactly the same. That was the initial ORB, just chop fest. I managed to, when we broke, so I had 2 losing trades on the Dow at the open in this chop. It went long again, and I saw the NASDAQ coming down, so I actually shut that there and took a tiny little loss on it. We then broke short, and it looked like the market was going to break short, came back up, stopped out. Then we went long, but we just about got 2R out of it before it came back down again. So if you did take a manual long on the Dow yesterday, you would have made it. But the whole first hour and a half, 2 hours of the market was absolute chop fest. Killed everybody yesterday. NASDAQ was the only thing I did make money on yesterday. Broke short, stopped out. Broke long, stopped out. I then, blimey, so I've been editing videos when volume is way too high. I then decided basically to get in short, added to it twice, and then took those off down there. So I got in manually basically after I saw this chop happening and I saw the Dow starting to break down. I entered a short, added to the short, and then added again on the breakout. That was my only saving grace trade yesterday. Had to do it manually. ORB just did not work. Gold did work. So went long, stopped out, flipped short, straight to target, exit. Beautiful. So yesterday, basically, gold was the one that worked. NASDAQ manually scaled out, manually traded my way out of it. But yeah, really a horrible choppy day yesterday. Day before as well, as you can see from the P&L, choppy as hell. This market has suddenly gone into, what we're doing now. Weird, isn't it? Summer trading, absolute flyer. I've made more money in the last 6 weeks in summer trading than I think I ever have with the ORB strategy. And now as soon as summer trading ends, which is when we expect the volatility to come, market goes sideways. So very, very odd. I think this is just the way it is now. The market does not have a set thing that it does now. It's getting more and more and more random every day. But at the end of the day, if you've got a risk-reward ratio which is positive, you'll make money. That's what it's all about. So DAX looks like we're going to try for a long today. So looking at where we are at the moment with DAX for today, that is your initial upside resistance, previous support. So if you look at the actual distance we've got there, basically 1R to the upside is immediate resistance if we break long. So there is a good chance that we might just hit that and stop. Downside, you've got plenty of room. So if we're going to come down and test yesterday's low on a short break today, there's loads and loads and loads of room. We may well have the market sitting around a little bit until we get those PPI numbers coming out, but we'll wait and see what happens at the moment. There's no break at the moment, so we'll wait and see. But those are your levels to be wary of today on the DAX. But there's no break so far. FTSE, FX-wise, there's a few ADRs so far this morning to look at. Aussie New Zealand has hit ADR, but that is because of this whacking great broker candle here. You can see that was the close yesterday. We actually gapped down and we put this huge broker candle in. Ignore that one. That is not an ADR hit. Aussie dollar yen. Again, it's a little bit of a gap down, but that one has actually kind of just about hit ADR. So that's debatable, but it is an ADR hit. So we've had a lot of movement on the yen. So there is an ADR opportunity there for a short. M-pattern reversal's gone in. There's no reversal alert on it yet, but watch that for a target and that for a target on the way back down again. So you've got a little bit of room for getting a trade in on that one, potentially. Euro odd. That one's nicely extended to the downside. So that is a proper extension. Yeah. So that's where we closed. We gapped down, but we filled the gap. So that is the actual price action there. So you are ADR already on the euro odd. You can see that Australian dollar quite strong this morning to start off with. New Zealand dollar Swiss, very much the same. Forget that. Yeah, it's just a massive gap down. New Zealand dollar's really dodgy at the open sometimes. And New Zealand dollar yen. So a bit of a gap down there. But again, weak yen, strong Australasian. So you've had your reversal alert there. So there's your M-pattern reversal. That's your retest. Market structure starting to fill out nicely. So watch this area here, this propulsion gap for downside targets. But you needed to be in on that one kind of around about there somewhere. Is coming back and retesting propulsion at the moment. So that may well be the next sell point. So potentially a good short entry there. Weekly ranges. For a Wednesday, there's quite a lot to look at. So US dollar yen on the hourly. Whoops, we got to the hourly. We've missed it. So it happened yesterday. So that is your weekly range there, put in from high to low. So within 48 hours, we did the entire week's range this week. It's already played out. You had a little RSI extension, nice divergence, bullish there as well. So that one's already kind of played out, missed it. Swiss yen. That's because of the gap up. So technically that is your weekly range, but that is actually the gap fill. So I'd be more inclined to say what we've just done is reset ourselves back to where we should have been after the gap fill with the news over the weekend. Euro yen and your other yens, we got US yen. So again, those are the gap fill plays. So pretty much the same thing that we've already looked at. It's pretty much the same. CAD. So Aussie CAD is a good one to look at. Sorry, that's Aussie CAD. I was looking at US dollar yen, wasn't I? When I was talking about the Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD, basically, that's your weekly range hit to the upside. So that is a good one for potential pullback. The levels we're coming up to, we've just broken out of that high. So obviously downside target, you've got about 225 ADR potentially for a pullback on that. Coming back down into this area here. Lots of room. That propulsion gap downside target on the 4 hour is good. I'm just looking for where we're potentially going to. This propulsion gap here, where we are, pretty much 125 ADR today, looks like a good area. So somewhere around about ADR to 150 ADR today. If we can get up into there, potentially a nice looking short opportunity and hold it for a couple of days towards the end of the week. Bear in mind, Canadian dollar is going to move with the US dollar. So that could move this afternoon or potentially, obviously, at any point this week. But looking for a push back down into here, there's loads of downside room on that. So there's a stop loss based strategy. That's a pretty good little short. You just got to try and get your risk right. Give it a bit of room, half an ADR maybe as a stop when you get a signal, and play it all the way back down into there. We also have New Zealand CAD. That's going to be the same trade as the Aussie CAD. So look at that chart there and then look at the New Zealand CAD. It's pretty much the same thing. Take one or the other. Don't overexpose. New Zealand dollar Swiss is the biggest extension so far this week. And you can ignore it because of that. Just is that a weekly range done literally in a gap fill from a broker? 514. Look at that. So we've moved today 150% of ADR, but pretty much one ADR of that is spread overnight spread. Shocking. Look at that. They've done it there as well, look. And there. Yeah. Brokers. And there. Look at that candle there. ADR. They spread the market by an ADR. New Zealand dollar Swiss. Just forget it. It's not tradable anymore. Right. So there's your weeklies. Let's have a look at the breaks. So we're long on the DAX. So that upside DAX. So we've basically tapped into yesterday's high and rejected so far. We've got that resistance coming up on the DAX. So from an upside break, it's quite a tall order today for the longs to make progress because you've got two batches of sellers which are going to be holding you down today. You can see this area here that we tapped into on Friday last week was a strong sell area. And then we had that area there, which we couldn't get through. So this whole area we're in now is a very, very, very strong sell area. So more likely we'll break to the downside. So looking for a testing of this kind of area down here, potentially 125 ADR, but that's really your low from yesterday as your main target to the downside. So we'll see. They've had a crack at it. If they get another run up at it, we have got some decent buyers. We may well overpower that, in which case it could break through. If it breaks through, we should be off because there's loads and loads of upside until you get back to this accumulation. You've also got a gap fill opportunity here, which is roughly around ADR. So if we break this high and we break this high today, it's a good hold, at least up to that level there, which is 33,970 odd. 33,970 basically upside target, which is lots of R, plenty of R, enough R for us to make money basically. So we'll see where we go. But yeah, tough markets this week. Okay, so we have closed bullish, but obviously very large bear rejection on that. So we'll see. This is what the market's been like this week, isn't it? So far this week, we've had very, very, very range-bound opens for a good few hours, as if the market just basically hasn't bothered to open. So it just goes into rotation and then suddenly it will take off for no reason and at no time. This is the thing we were talking about on, I think it was on Monday, wasn't it? In the afternoon session about AI and how AI is going to impact the trading going forward. If we're going to get to the point where we're going to get AI trading against AI, there is no advantage to be gained by large moves because one of the AIs will lose out. So it would make sense for AI to become a super high frequency trading algorithm in effect, which will mean the markets just won't need to move. It will take some manual order, which is huge, to drive the market in a direction. And that's it's kind of the sort of patterns we're seeing this week have been very algorithmic. There's not really any large orders coming in and you can't time them. So if that is how the market is going to go at some point in the future, things like the opening range breakout strategy, which the edge of the strategy is timing based, they're not going to work anymore, are they? So again, we need to adapt. That's what we have to do. You have to be like the Borg, basically. Morning, Virginia. Morning, Baggy. Morning, Harold. How is support resistance indicator for MT5 coming along? What resistance indicator for MT5? What's that? Oh, you mean SRP? Support resistance propulsion. Yeah. It's not at the moment. Well, it is. That's the lie. It's coming along. Since I built that, we've had about 600 releases of MT5. So much has changed. The code base for MT5 has changed unbelievably in the last 2 years. I've been reading through the documentation, sort of going through previous release documentation. They've changed so much. But I've got most of it working, but I haven't got one part I cannot get functioning properly is partly the way that I coded it. Basically, I used MT4, an old MT4 plugin code base, which they don't use anymore, to do all the calculations for average prices and pip counts and stuff. That doesn't work anymore. I can't get it working. It just doesn't work in the code base. It's almost like they've erased functionality, which they probably have. So I'm kind of bodging it together to get a release out, but I haven't managed to do it yet because I've been also working on the members area, getting the MST Academy, which is the education part of it, up and running. Yeah, that's taking way more than I anticipated. So I've got about 600 things I'm juggling at the moment, and I'm really trying to prioritize them, but I keep getting pushed in each direction. So I'm working on it. It is on my list to do today. What I might actually do is, with the support resistance propulsion indicator, what I'm thinking of doing is, I don't know if this has got SRP on it. No. I haven't got it either. Find it. Indicators. Propulsion, 1.4. Program. Indicators. Source code. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing is having the propulsion gaps removed from the indicator for the time being. The break-even line is what's causing the problem at the moment because it uses an old MQL4 library, which is imported into MT5. So this all works absolutely fine. Support and resistance. Yeah, absolutely great. Draws all our lines in. Perfect. The propulsion gap side of things is the bit that is grinding to a halt. Now, I have another version of the SRP indicator, which is purely SRP. That's all. The propulsion gap indicator, which is just propulsion gaps, which does work. Where did I put the folder? There. Which does work. I think. Let me try this. Actually, I don't know if it does. Does work well, I thought. Bear me a second. You've started me off on a waffle now. Okay, there's. Okay. So that is drawn in fine. Let me just switch charts. See, that paints straight away. Just change instrument. Yeah, see, it does still redraw. Look. Doesn't work. This is the standalone version that I'm putting on the chart here of the support of the propulsion gap indicator. It's an absolute mess, isn't it? It's all got to be recoded. The whole thing's got to be recoded from scratch. It just doesn't work. So, yeah, it's annoying. So I'm going to have to do this from scratch, which is going to be, I was hoping I was going to be able to pull that out, muck about with it and chuck it into the indicator, but I don't think it's going to work because it doesn't work on its own. This is this indicator here is called the WRB hidden gap, which is basically what propulsion gaps are, wide range bars. Or if you're an ICT man, FVG, because he just ripped them off. But yeah, it's just basically it doesn't work. Because it does all this repainting stuff. It just takes too long, and I don't know why. It's a really weird thing, because it's literally just doing a calculation. It's the way that MT5 renders it. So it's on my list. It will get done, but as you can see, one of those things. Once it's built, it's built. you know, this is the thing. It will work absolutely fine, but it's just a case of having to find the time to put in to fix it. Okay, DAX break long is underway. So we're just watching this upside target. We're above yesterday's high. So we're watching this upside resistance target here. So this could be just a false breakout attempt at yesterday's high. And we're just going to find a load of liquidity shorts up there who are going to drive the market back down again. So at the moment, we are hitting resistance. If we can break back above that level, that confirms that those sellers are gone. Then we need to beat these sellers. If we get those beaten, we should be clear to ADR today. So let's see if we can get through that level first. Right. RSIs on Forex, there's not a lot to look at the moment. Aussie dollar CAD is extended on the 4 hour. Australian dollar still screaming away at the moment, on rather Canadian dollar being ridiculously weak. But yeah, so basically big move up on Aussie dollar CAD at the moment, still underway. We are embedded on the RSI. So very, very nice extension there. When we get embedded, typically you find that you will get quite a strong pullback, usually very, very quick as well. But we'll see where we go. It could be that we get that negative news on the US dollar this afternoon, which will weaken the CAD further and we get a further push on it. So we are above the 80 level now, just about. But obviously the way that we're getting there isn't ideal because we're sort of accumulating. It's much better when you get those big, strong pushes because you get those good 50% pullbacks. But at the moment, we're just grinding away up there. So really good opportunity for shorts. If you're not already in it, you may well already be in it from back here, which is when we hit that resistance. That looked like a beautiful short there. And we came straight back into propulsion and bought out of it. So we have just broken that high. So the amount of power that it takes to get through a resistance is a lot. You usually find exhaustion after the breakout, which is why most breakouts tend to fail because they're exhausted. They need to pull back, build up power to go the next leg, which is why we get market structure. Upside, obviously, on this one, we've got this resistance coming up. This is one we looked at, isn't it, from the weekly. This is the weekly extension, and obviously also 4 hour extension. So looks good for a pullback into this area at some point. The other RSI extension we've got is the Euro New Zealand. That's extended to the downside. Strong New Zealand dollar at the moment. So again, nicely embedded down here. We're coming down to weekly support at propulsion. So there's one massive propulsion gap there. And that will also be ADR today. So looking for a pullback up into this propulsion gap, retesting that previous break or potentially that break there, which is that whole propulsion area. So if we can get down into ADR today, nice looking potential long opportunity back up into there. You've got a monthly level there as well, which is the 2 month high. So that acted as resistance. We came back to it, accumulated, broke through it, retested it and off. So that is definitely resistance and support. Yeah. So if it's going to remain a support, if the buyers here are still in the market, they will add to their positions there, which will drive that back up. Depending on the power of this propulsion move to the downside, they will either then hit that resistance and get beaten, or they will win. One of those two things is going to happen. So those are your opportunities on that one. So longs from there back up into here, or shorts from there if you don't fancy it long. We are obviously grinding up. New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar at the moment, very, very strong. Commodity markets, very, very good. So gold's out new all-time highs, as we know. So, you know, anything that is commodity-based is doing very, very well. Gold put in an all-time high yesterday. Oops. Again, so all-time highs basically day by day, we have all but one had an all-time high for the last 7 days. Look, so there's one day we didn't get an all-time high in. If you look at the daily chart, just got that one little blip there. So that was your previous all-time high. We rallied up into it, broke it every single day. We put in an all-time high in. Now, yesterday was your first big bear rejection up at that high. So today we've got a slight gap down, which is underway at the moment. So if this candle today does not close bull and we close bear, that is a 3-bar reversal, which could indicate that we're going to push back down into the 2472 and come and test some of these monthly levels. So there is potential for this to stall out. However, obviously bear in mind the US markets at the moment and what's happening with FOMC next week. We're dropping interest rates, which is going to weaken the dollar. This is a dollar cross. Expected direction is north. So very, very hard to mean revert this at the moment with the strength of this and obviously what we're expecting the dollar to do. But yeah, gold absolutely killing it at the moment. Look at that RSI extension and an M pattern as well, and divergence. Yeah, so we got divergent M pattern reversal on RSI. Yeah, whenever you get to these levels, yeah, the 80 level, that one didn't work out there. It did eventually, but took quite a few days. But on the daily chart, look, you know, when getting up and into this sort of territory, market will exhaust, and that is your first exhaustion candle yesterday on gold. So potential for a downside move. Don't forget as well, this week, I say about the US dollar weakening. Don't forget whether a currency weakens or strengthens is based on fundamentals. If these numbers all come out as positive, and these numbers all come out as positive, the Fed will not look to drop by 0.5%. The market is starting to factor that in. If that is the case, we will see a strong dollar because the market will have factored in a 0.5 drop. If we get a 0.25 and then them say, based on these figures, we're probably going to freeze next month, that will actually be bullish because the market's already been selling off the dollar. So, you know, this can all change day by day. So price action, this is where you become either a fundamental trader or a technical trader. If you're a technical price action trader, you're selling it. If you're a fundamental trader, you're buying it. Which is going to be right? We'll find out next Wednesday, won't we? But certainly exhaustion yesterday in the markets. So there's your hourly reversal alert gone in yesterday. So right now, we're retesting that reversal alert, first leg. So this would become your second leg M pattern reversal. So right now actually is a really good spot. If you look at the daily chart and look at how far we've got to go until we get down to the 24 moving average, which is currently sitting there. Yeah, there's your target to the downside, the 24. Obviously, the 24 is going to move as well, so that's not a fixed target, it's dynamic. But there's your start of your M pattern. So if you take a short there and decide to put a stop loss there, that's your risk. There's your potential reward. If this is going to be the start of a pullback continuation, if it's the start of a reversal, obviously, it's going to go down, isn't it? But good signal. But, you know, you are trying to mean revert an absolute rocket at the minute, but rockets run out of fuel at some point. Nothing goes up forever. Yeah, look at all the signals. The signals are all saying we're getting exhausted now. Yeah. You know, I don't want to labor the point, but this is why I use the RSI. It does tell you when we're exhausted. The banks and institutions cannot sustain these moves. There is going to be a point where there are no sellers. They've all sold. They're all underwater. The banks, when they cannot sell anymore, will have to take the profit off of that leg to build up momentum to make the next leg work. This is what RSI tells you. The relative strength is too strong to maintain market movement. Pop. So it's getting to the point where it may well start to falter. Worst case scenario, we don't drop, we flag, in which case then you're not going to really make any money, but you're also not going to lose any money. If you would give it 2 or 3 days, maybe get out before FOMC, if it does that, you're not going to lose, are you? But there is a good chance of a big, strong push down. But we've got to have something strengthen the dollar. At the moment, I just can't see any news coming out that's going to strengthen the dollar. But obviously, that could change this afternoon at 1:30. So opportunity there for you as well on gold. But there we go. That's those. Pulled back inside range on the DAX. So that rejection at yesterday's high holding. So yeah, looking for a break short if that fails. We're obviously at the moment potentially in a pullback situation for another run up at that, but it looks like it's trying again. Look, there we go. Okay, so obviously we need to break that high. That will confirm that that has gone, and then your next level is that next resistance to the upside. See if we break that. If we break that, we're off. We'll see. Anybody got any questions? Any FX pairs they want to look at? Let me know. I'm putting together the, as I said, I'm putting together the MST Academy, which is what I'm calling it, for a better word, at the moment, which is basically a series of classes, courses, if you like, which cover all my content, everything I always just continually bang on about, basically. I can't actually show you it because it's on the development server. But basically, it's multiple sections of training which you have to go through step by step. So it's kind of a drip-fed course, if you like, which is going to cover everything you need to know in order. So the problem with my content at the moment is it is all over the place. We've got the ORB strategy. There's videos about this, that, and the other. There's the position trading bootcamp. There's all sorts of stuff which is just fractured everywhere. And it's virtually impossible to try and figure out what order to do what in, to watch what in, to make sense, basically. So I put together the position trading handbook to try and organize my content as best I can. And this basically is a document basically which says, go and watch this, go and watch this, go and watch this, and do it in this order, and it'll all start to make sense. So what I'm doing is I'm actually putting that together on the members area of the website, which is free as well, the members area. There is paid content and there's free content, but it's basically courses. So I think there's 6 at the moment, which I've sectioned things into, and each of these courses has lessons. And you can't progress from lesson 1 to lesson 2 until you've watched lesson 1. So I'm kind of forcing people to go through this. And the idea being is when you get out the end of this, you won't have any questions because you will have had everything answered for you. And if there are questions, we're going to run live sessions, which will go back into those lessons. So it's basically just learn everything and then just keep hammering it home constantly. And that's what the membership system is going to be. The live streams that I'm going to do for members, once you've been through this, is going to be just reinforcement over and over again, doing the same thing every single day because it works. That's all that we need to do. So that's what I've put together. And I've realized how much content there is that is required. So what I did was I thought I'll be clever and I'll use all my previous recordings. Yeah. These are all the previous members streams, of which there are 42 of them. So there is roughly 90 hours of video I've got to go through here to extract out, to break it down into smaller chunks. It's probably a month's work. So I'm at the moment, I've realized what I've bitten off. And I'm trying to use my friend over at ChatGPT to watch my videos and segment them for me. He's working on this at the moment. I've called him Cyril. I don't know why. But I've just given it one video at the moment just to see if it can break it down. Because what my videos are my member streams, which if you're a member, you know, on the YouTube channel, they're all broken down into subjects. But within each of those videos, I want to break it down into parts of, so you can just go and access that one little bit about mean reversion indicators. So I've done a whole hour and a half on mean reversion, trend, and breakout indicators. But if you just want to know about mean reversion indicators, you've got to watch an 1.5-hour video and find the bit you want. I want to break that down into a 15-minute chunk, which is just that bit. And that is what I want everyone to go through. You can obviously skip over it. You can say I've watched it and lie. I can't stop people. But I've just got so much content that I've got to get done, and I'm just struggling to find a way to get it all compartmentalized, if you like. So it's a big job. I might spend a bit of time today researching if there's any other AI tools that I can use to maybe speed the process up. But it's it's going to be big. So and what I might end up doing is going, screw this, I'm just going to deliver the whole thing live, and then the live will become the recordings and do that. So I might do that, but it's going to be in a structured way so that we understand everything and how everything works. So I'm still figuring it out at the moment, which is why it's taking a bit longer than normal. Are all content in the Academy for members only? Yeah. Not all of it, no. There is some free stuff in there, but no, it'd be members. Yeah. The idea being is we're going to be live streaming. Yeah. So it's going to be a two-way interactive live stream. It's more like a lesson, a course. You'd be sitting in a chair in front of me. I'll be talking. You can put your hand up and ask questions, rather than YouTube where I waffle on, you watch me. That's basically it. So it's not interactive. That's what I want. I want interactive. So there's going to be, it's only it's £49 basically. If you haven't got 49 quid, you shouldn't be trading. Basically, it's the way I look at it. I've put a gateway there to stop idiots. That is my thing, idiots. I get so many people on Discord and Telegram wasting my time. If you're going to waste my time, you're going to pay me £49 a month to waste my time. That's basically what I'm doing. That's what it is. So I've made it affordable, but I've made it unaffordable for people that aren't serious. If you're serious about trading, yeah, I mean, I'm trading with a 10 grand account here on ORB, right? I've made 2,500 in 2 weeks on a 10 grand account. Yeah, I've made a 25.7% increase on the account. If you can't afford £49, and I'm going to teach you a strategy that you can make 2.5 grand in 2 weeks on, I'm not interested because you're wasting my time. And people are this. I can't show you. I really want to show you it, but I can't because it's in the development area and it's a mess. But there's a section on prop in there, yeah, because a lot of people now are wanting to trade prop. Prop is taking off, so I'm going to be doing live streams on prop. I'm trading prop myself at the moment within futures, but I'm going to do a whole section on CFD futures in prop, different strategies to use on CFDs, different strategies to use on prop, on futures prop, different types of prop. We're going to go through exactly how to beat prop. Yeah, it's not hard to beat prop. You need $500 to $1,000 though. If you haven't got $500 to $1,000, you're not going to beat prop. Yeah, that's it. You're going to need to take multiple evaluations. You're going to need to run a solid strategy across multiple days on different instruments to get diversification, to get an account over the line, to get funded. That's the way you beat prop. This is what people don't understand. This is what I do with it, and that's what I've always done with it. That's going to cost you $1,000. If you haven't got $1,000, you're not going to get past my £49 paywall. I'm not going to talk to you. Yeah, I'm not being nasty, but I just waste so much time. And this is where the members' streams have been great. The YouTube members' streams that we've been doing have been brilliant. The subject matter is great. There's tons and tons and tons of content, which is brilliant. And this is what is going to go into the members' website. And it's everything that you need to know, I think, that you need to know to be able to trade. And then you can do your own thing. Yeah. So part of it's going to be strategy development as well. There's an EA builder in here. Yeah. MetaTrader builder. You can build your own EAs. I'm going to teach you how to build your own EAs. Yeah. If you want to become a mean reversion trader and you don't want to use the RSI, you want to use the CCI because your mates told you it's the best thing since sliced bread, I will come in here and build you a CCI EA. and we will back test your strategy and we will see if it works. This is what trading is all about. It's about testing, developing, and then executing with automation. It's not a 5-minute job. It takes weeks and months and years to get it right. This EA isn't something I've knocked up. It's been decades in development. The strategy, the variations of the strategy. Yeah. So that's what the members area is all about, is getting a smaller group of people together, 20, 30, 50, 100, I don't know, not 5,000. Yeah, that's what I want, small and focused, getting the job done. Everybody singing off the same hymn sheet. Yeah? Everybody use Robo Forex. Everybody trade on Take Profit Trader if you trade in futures, because that's what I do. If you want to do what I do it on the platforms I do it on, and then everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet. There's no ambiguity, is there, of like, we've got people in Discord at the moment going, oh my God, I've lost 20 trades in a row. Yes, because you're doing it wrong. Yeah, you're over leveraging, you're overexposing. You're telling me one thing, you're doing something else, because you're not doing what I'm doing, are you? Come and do what I do. Getting it all together in one place. Morning from Pontevedra. Winter is coming. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones at the moment. Winter is coming. Winter is actually coming. They've just climbed the wall. Season 3, episode 5, I think. Yeah, winter is coming here as well. It's peeing down. So you might as well move over to England, Blue Trader, because, same weather. I think it's a bit more fun where you live, but broken long again on DAX. So again, another choppy session so far. We are holding up though. See where we go. But yeah, not a lot of volume or momentum this morning. Bit of a random one. Do you have a video anywhere with your history trading? How long it took to become consistently profitable? How long it took to build multiple 50k accounts? Day one on the position trading bootcamp covers my history. Yeah. When it loads, the members area is so much faster. So on day one of the bootcamp, which you've probably done, there is a big bit about me. Somewhere in there. I don't know. Somewhere in there. My trading background, there you go. Bloody hell, 32 minutes in. There you go. But basically, I've been trading 20 years now. No, I haven't been trading 18 years, roughly. I went full time, I would say, probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe. I just basically gradually built up my capital. I had capital. One of the things that one of the lessons actually that I'm putting in the fundamentals part is expectation versus reality, and that has changed slightly now. In my day, there wasn't prop. There was prop, but prop was in London, a desk, and you had to physically go there. If you wanted to trade as a prop trader, you had to pay £2,000 a month for a desk to access the money, and you had to prove you could trade. Now you pay $50 and you're up and running with a 50 grand account. Yeah, that's not real prop, is it? We know that. But it's changed. You couldn't trade without capital. And you couldn't trade without a decent amount of capital. People think that they can turn 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 into 20,000. You can't do that. You can over a period of 5 to 10 years. It's called investing. You can't do it very easily at all So you have to build it up gradually, and to do that, you need capital. So I went through the mill the same as everyone else. I spent 4 or 5 years. I gave up twice trying to figure it out. I traded stocks. I traded indices. I looked at options and scrapped it. I went to Forex. I went back to stocks and then came back to Forex. Now I'm back on stock indices again. You diversify and you move around basically. But at the end of the day, trading is about risk and reward and probabilities and maths, statistics. That's the light bulb moment for most people. And for me was figuring out that it is just a statistical edge. It's maths. It's a casino. You are in a casino, except you need to become the casino, not the customer. And the only way you're going to do that is by playing like the casinos. The casinos in our industry are banks. Trade like the banks. That's all you can do. The banks do specific things at specific times in specific ways and repeat them over and over again to generate consistent income. Yeah, if you know how they do that, you can spot the signs. And that's the light bulb moment that I came to, was realizing it's not about finding an indicator. It's not about finding a strategy. It's about understanding how the market works and how the market moves and what is necessarily coming next. But it's there's very little that works. You know, this is the whole thing. My course, if you like, is boiling it down into the 3 strategies. You know, when you understand there's 3 strategies that exist, it makes your life so much easier. If I'd have known this on day 1 of trading, I'd have been a professional trader within 12 months, because I wouldn't have spent 4 years system hopping, trying to find the one that's better. It works. Oh, it's failed. Next. It works. It's failed. Next. It works. That's the cycle. Yeah. The reason you get stuck in that cycle is because you are trading a mean reversion strategy, and then you hop to another mean reversion strategy expecting it to do something different. It's a mean reversion strategy. It does the same thing as the other one. It waits for the price to go up and it comes down again. Statistically, the odds are the same on every mean reversion strategy out there. Doesn't matter whether you use an RSI, a CCI, a Bollinger Band. They're all going to tell you the same thing. The market's moved up. You are expecting it to move down. If it doesn't, you lose money. That's the bit that makes you the money, not the fact it's done that. There's 100 indicators that tell you the same thing. You can try all 100 of them, but it will take you 6 years. And you come out at the end of it and go, none of them work. No, they all work. You just didn't do this bit right. Yeah. So it's about really identifying what works and what doesn't work, and then understanding that you just need to do one thing over and over and over again. And the one thing is wrap risk and reward around random price movement and wait for the market to fall into the behavior that you want it to. It's going to do this sometimes, it's going to do that sometimes. And if your strategy works when it does that, you're going to win. If your strategy doesn't work when it does that, you're going to lose. You can't change your strategy because you don't know what the future holds. You don't know whether the market's going to do that or whether it's going to do that. You have to do the same thing all the time and hope that 66% of the year it does this. If it does this 33% of the year, you're going to lose 66% of the time. But if you backtest over a period of time and you understand that if it works 33% of the time or 44% of the time or 66% of the time, they all make money, it doesn't matter what the market does it? You just repeat the same thing over and over again and you'll come out at the end of the year with a win. What the win will be depends on whether you get that, or that. But that is a random thing generated by market movement and bank and institutional movement in the future, and you can't predict it. That's when you start to understand how trading works. Not about finding the indicator, finding the strategy, finding the guru. Irrelevant, all of it. That's what my course or my academy, it's nothing new. Yeah, every single video in here is just telling you exactly what I just told you. Yeah, there's just 90 hours of it. I've got to try and break it down into an understandable chunk. That's my challenge, and this is what I'm trying to get ChatGPT to help me out, because I think I'll be doing it for the next 6 years. Anyway, I hate it. I wish I hadn't started it. I've opened a can of worms, and there's like worms coming up underneath the can, and they're never going to stop. I could probably generate that on ChatGPT, couldn't I? That has to be a documentary. Lee Sampson, The Market Structure Conqueror. That sounds good. It's a while since I watched it or revisited it. It's good to get some perspective sometimes, as it isn't an overnight success type situation. No. It requires a lot of work. I remember when I started trading with Kunal Desai, Balls of Wall Street, who was my first real mentor that sort of, get this, yeah. With him, basically, it was very much a case of his expectations were, you're going to be 3 to 6 months with me and you're not going to make a penny. Yeah, upfront. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. If you don't like it, don't do it. Basically, hard. My previous mentor, or my mentor after that, made me read a 10,000 post thread on Forex Factory before he would even open a conversation with me. Yeah, he made me spend months reading 10,000 posts, and at the end of it, he gave me a quiz to make sure I'd read 10,000 posts. And then he would take me under his wing and mentor me, and became one of his turtles, basically. But these guys made sure that everybody went through the same process and was under no illusion that you're not going to make a load of money next week. You're going to make a load of money sometime in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, and that is the general time it takes for people to crack this. Because like people we have at the moment on Discord, yeah, you get a losing run. I'm going to do something else. No, you're going to miss the winning run. That's what you're going to do if you stop this. If you've backtested this, you know that happens because you've seen it. Yeah, it's about telling it how it is, which is what people need. There's no point in fluffing people up about this. This is a bloody hard job, and you need a lot of capital to make it work. If you want to trade prop, you need $3,000 in the bank because you're going to spend $1,000 blowing accounts. You're going to spend $1,000 blowing accounts again slower. You're going to pass. You're going to blow an account before you get paid on it, and then you're going to spend another $1,000 revenge trading trying to get back to the funded account. After that $3,000's gone, you're going to go, this isn't working. Then you're going to slow down. Yeah, realistically, no one is ever passed prop on their first try. And if they have, they failed immediately on that funded account, probably on day one. Sound familiar? Everyone's done it. Because the mindset's not there, because you're not following the process. So you've got to demo trade this first. When you can do ORB strategy automated on a demo account and generate a 25% return in 4 weeks, it's time to go to prop. But before you've done this for free, don't go spend a penny on prop. What's the point? All you're doing is you're getting a demo account. You're just paying them for a demo account. Prove you can do it on a demo account. Then give someone money to prove you can do it on their demo account. Then they will give you a fictitious account to prove that you can do it again, and they'll give you a profit cut from all the other people that have been doing this. That's what I'm going to teach, because that's the way it is. There's no point in fluffing it up, is there? You need money. You can't do this without money. This is the whole thing. Everybody thinks they can do it on $100. You can't do it. Somebody posted the other day as well, in I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, in Discord, on the position trader thread, their P&L. They started with $200 and they're now up to $700. But they haven't said what they're doing to get that, which is utterly useless, isn't it? You know, this is the thing, the sort of stuff I want to stop. What's the point in posting this and saying, I started in May with $200, I've now got $700? Good for you. What did you do? Go into a casino and red and black? Absolutely no use, no help to anybody, is it? That's what I want to try and stop. And that's what I'm hoping the members group is going to be. We'll talk about stuff if we've actually got an invested interest in helping each other and getting it working. I spent 10 years on and off. Morning, Ozcheck, how you doing? Or a reality TV show, some fake family drama. I can get fake family drama, that's not a problem. I spent 10 years on and off with very little success and with stop losses since I switched last December to the RSI mean reversion with the EAs. Demoed position trading until the 10th of August was up 60% year to date. Even with the tariffs, that is a result. Went live on the 11th of August, so basically exactly a month ago, and 8.6.1% up since on live. Yeah. My content has been a game changer. That's it. I mean, this is the thing. I'm not about making money on YouTube. This is the reason I have 30 odd people in my streams. I don't know how many got today. 42. Yeah. I'm not here to make money on YouTube. That's not what I'm about. I'm about doing this. And this is why I'm not popular, because I don't pull punches. I don't give bullshit. It's hard, and it goes wrong a lot. Morning, Pot TJ. How we doing? But this is the thing. I'll try this course thing out, and if it works, it works. It's brilliant. If it doesn't work, I know why, because I'm telling people how it is, and they don't want to know that. They'll go off and follow the guy with the gold teeth and the chains around his neck that drives a Lamborghini. He'll help you out. I haven't seen him for a while. There he is. Really? Tell me more. Wow. So if you wanted to turn $11 into $1,100, what leverage would you need on an account? Because you couldn't do it on a 1 to 30, because you wouldn't be able to get the margin, and you get margin called before you hit your stop loss. So it'd be interesting to figure out how he did that, because physically you couldn't get the trade on. It's not possible. Anyway, he'll show you how he did it. But, this is why he's here. Yeah. Look at that. I've been on holiday to places like this. I've been on holiday to lots of places like this, and I also have a dressing gown. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. I should take these photos, shouldn't I? Yeah. Then you'll all pay me millions. What's the point in trading? Where's my Lambo? I don't even know where my Lambo is. Since I've moved, I've got nothing. My office is so bland. This is always the same way. Whenever I move to a new house or whenever we do anything, my office is always the last thing to get done. So the house is going to get done up, and I'm going to be sitting here in this white-walled, doctor's surgery. And the last thing that will happen is I will spend money on my office. Anyway, 1 to 500. Yeah, you're going to need 1 to 500 to get that sort of trade on. I mean, $11 into 1,100. It does make me laugh. It's just a moody photo. Anyway, let's not watch him. That's not much fun, is it? Right, coming up to resistance. So this is our potential bounce point, first stumbling block today. So previous support, broke through, resistance. So this is a very, very strong level that we're approaching here. So if we can get through this, we are on today. But as you can see, we're not having much luck. So up to you if you want to hold this. Bear in mind at 1:30 we got PPI coming out. So there's potential that the markets are just sitting around this morning waiting for that news to come. If we get to the break even, this is there's a good argument for taking it off today. Market structure's there. Yeah, so we have got higher highs and higher lows going in. So potentially, as long as we're staying above that low, we are confirmed still bullish, but we are bullish into very, very strong resistance. So there's, it wouldn't be a bad decision to just scrap that today and take it off. If it does break, it's going to be a lovely one. But depending on how your day, your week, month's going, you might want to just take it on the chin today and just take the break even and walk away. In fact, that is what I'm going to do today. I'll leave my sell on. If we do break down from that rejection, obviously, there's a good chance we might get a decent move down. So I'll leave that on. If that hasn't triggered by 1:30, I'll probably take it off, because we will get a whipsaw on the indices, on the PPI numbers potentially, if they're highly out. DAX will also move with the rest of the indices. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna risk it today. There's no point pushing it. We're not breaking, are we? So identify it for what it is, which is just rotation today. There we go. Black Bull, I believe. Black Bull. That's a broker. Oh, is that who he trades with? Is it Black Bull? Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna put an $11 trade on, basically, what he's trying to do is compound it, isn't he? So you literally have one chance. This is what all these guys are breeding, is this ridiculous casino mentality. I too can walk into a casino with $11, put it on red or black, and walk away with 22. No problem. But if I walk in with $11 and it comes up the wrong color, I cannot trade anymore. My business is bankrupt. I am out of the game. Capital preservation. Gambling's lovely and it's fun, but it's not regular income. And this is where the prop mentality goes wrong, isn't it? Everybody's trying to, generate huge returns on prop accounts, not understanding that they're not trading what they are trading. Yeah, I've got a take profit trader account running at the moment, which is on a 50K account. Yeah. But I'm not trading it like a 50K account. This is what I'm trading. Yeah. That's what they've given me. $2,000. Yeah, just forget this number. It's irrelevant. My risk has to be relative to that. Yeah. So, this is where these people are going wrong with the ORB strategy. They're trying to trade prop. They're trying to trade a $50,000 account. They're using 1% risk. They're risking $500 on a trade. Yeah. You've actually got 4 trades you can take at that level before ruin. 4 trades. That's going to happen. Imagine on the DAX, we go long, stop out, short, stop out, long, stop out, short, stop out, break, make loads and loads of money. Yeah. Blown account. If you were risking $100 on a trade, you're risking 5% of your total risk there. Yeah. On one trade. Yeah, not 1% of 50K, because you're not trading 50K, you're trading 2. That's what they're giving you. That's what you got to play with. This is where everybody's getting in prop totally wrong. I want to make 2% a month. I'm risking 0.25% of my account, 250, and I'm going to try and make 2% of that, $2,000. You're not risking 0.25% of your account to try and get 2%. You're risking over 10% per trade. Total mismatch. People just don't get it. You get a $3,000 account, you get a $4,500 account, you get a 1,500 account. That's what you get. You do not get 75K. Total myth. You can trade it like that and you will be lucky sometimes. Yeah. You can get in, you can risk 1% of your account, $750, and get a 3R on it. Yeah. And return yourself 2250. Fantastic. But what you've just done is doubled your account by using 10% risk on that. But you haven't used 10% risk, have you? You've used 30% risk. You've risked 30% of your total drawdown in one trade because you thought you were trading that. It's all going to be covered in the members bit. Nope. In a casino, 0 messes up the odds. It does, yes. Yeah, this is the thing. It's like this house always has an edge. Prop has got a much bigger house edge than any casino. Prop's edge is huge because prop's edge relies on you having a consistent win ratio that does not suffer from that. Show me any P&L of any professional trader on the planet that's never suffered that. Everybody does. I'm suffering it at the moment. Look at my P&L at the moment. This is normal. This is totally normal. Loser, 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 loser. Normal. I absolutely expect to have 10 losing trades in a row regularly, maybe 10, 15. It's normal. It's all back tested. It's all proven in the back tests that is absolutely normal. That is normal. Yeah. I also have that. I've had that fully green as well. 20, 25 winning trades in a row. That's normal as well. Back testing shows that too. But what people don't see is the risk. If you risk $250 on these and you've got a $2,500 drawdown available on your prop account, yeah, that instantly wipes you out in 48 hours. You're gone. Got to get that bit right. It's massively important. So this is why I'm dedicating a whole section to prop and a whole week to prop. Every month we're going to have a whole week. We do nothing but prop. Forget CFDs, forget news, forget everything. We're just doing prop this week. We hammer home prop. You watch the prop course and you hammer home prop for an entire week. Every month we hammer prop home. I'm probably going to do it actually more regularly than that because there's so many people want to do it. Because they can't get capital together, which I understand. It's bloody hard at the moment to get money together. Cost of living and all that rubbish. Actually, I should say that is why we have put it in the odds. Actually, I should say that is why they have put it in so the odds are with the house. Yeah. Franco's here. Yahtzee Franco. 4 dice. Is Yahtzee 4 dice or 5 dice? No, Yahtzee's 5 dice, isn't it? Almost Yahtzee. It's 4 of a kind. If your beer was a 1, then you would have a Yahtzee, wouldn't you? Afternoon, Dev. How are we doing? Morning, even. Right, I'm going to stop waffling because I need to get some work done on the site. But I break even on it. There's no point in pushing this. We are really struggling. Inside bar just gone in there. So the first bull candle we've had is an inside bar. It's not looking particularly strong, is it? It might go, it might not. There's a 50-50 chance. It'll probably, we'll look at this afternoon, but what will probably happen is that and then that. That's 90% guaranteed, isn't it? Because I've put my stop to break even, it will come and take my stop out and then it will pop 10R. That's 99% guaranteed. When we come back this afternoon, we'll look at that. That is what will happen. But I'm not going to take the risk on it because there's literally no momentum. We are now 1.25 hours into the session and we haven't gone anywhere. So I'll draw a line under that today. I don't know what the FTSE's doing. I haven't got it at the moment, but probably the same. Morning, Andrew. Nice of you to join us. I'm just about to go. So yeah, I'll be back this afternoon at 2:30. Watch out for the PPI this afternoon. So there's obviously opportunity on the dollar this afternoon at 1:30, which is an hour before market open. I'll evaluate how that has affected the market when we come back to the open. If we've got a massive ADR push happened, you just got to be a bit careful because the market tends to be a little bit stuck after that. So just watch what happens with that. Obviously, if you've got any dollar exposure on, be prepared. If you've got any profit available, take it before the news because the news can take it away. So just, bank what you can or break even if you've got any positions on. I'll be back this afternoon, 2:30. We'll have a look at the US session, trade the NASDAQ and the Dow and gold. And obviously see how we got on with the DAX this morning. Anything you need, I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Other than that, have a good day and I'll see you next time.